The title of this lesson is Adding Decimals. How do we add decimal numbers? Let's say, for example, we have 4 and 5/10 plus 3 and 75/100, and we want to add those two together. What we do here is to make certain that our place values are lined up. We have 4 in the ones place in this number, and we have a 3 in the ones place in this number. After the decimal point, we have a 5 in this number and a 7 in this number. We don't have a digit here in the hundredths place, but we do have a digit here in the hundredths place. And to add those together, we've lined them up in their respective place values, which means that the decimal points are lined up in a straight vertical line. And in fact, the decimal point in the answer is going to be right in line with the decimal points in the problem. Sometimes what people like to do is, because there's a gap here, is to actually fill that in with an extra 0 so that you can keep everything in the same line. 0 plus 5 is 5. 5 plus 7 is 12. Carry the 1. 1 and 4 is 5 plus 3 is 8. And so our answer is 8 and 25 hundredths. Another example, let's say we have 5 and 872 thousandths plus 12 and 35 thousandths. Now, we have a number here in the ones place, but we also have a number in the tens place here. If we were just going to add the 5 and the 12, we would write them this way, so that in fact they do line up according to their place value. But we have decimals in here also, and the easiest way to do that, write the first number in its entirety, and then write the second number so that its decimal point lines up directly underneath the decimal point of the previous number. And so we put our 12 here, and then the 0, 3, 5 here, and then we can add them together. 2 plus 5 is 7, 7 and 3 is 10, 1 and 8 is 9. Bring down the decimal point. 5 and 2 is 7, and 1. And our answer is 17 and 907 thousandths. Sometimes we have a situation like this, where we'll be asked to add a whole number, let's say 8 plus 3 and 25 hundredths. Well, in this case, there's no decimal point. But in fact, every number does have a decimal point, even a whole number. 8 is the same thing as 8.0 or 8.00. And in this case, what we're doing is lining up our decimal points. And I'm going to put 2 zeros here because I have 2 digits to the right of the decimal point there. 3.25, and now I can add them together, lining up the decimal points. 5, 2, 8, and 3 is 11. 11 and 25 hundredths. Now we can use this same system even if we have a long string of numbers like 1.3 plus 2.09 plus 41.86 6 plus 3. And so let's take each one and we're going to line up their decimal points. 1.3 is the first one. 2.09. Then we have 41.86. So we need to be careful that everything is lined up and the numbers don't become jumbled together. And then 3 point, and we can add its zeros here. And we can add another 0 up here so that every column has some digits in it. 9 plus 6 is 15. Carry the 1. 1 and 3 is 4. Plus 8 is 12. Bring down the decimal point. Carry the 1. 2, 4, 5, 8, and 4. So our final answer there is 48 and 25 hundredths. That's how to add add decimals. Just keep the decimal points in a line. And sometimes I tell my students it's sort of like the buttons on a man's shirt. The decimal points are always lined up in a straight vertical column. Easy? Pretty easy.